You'll handle muting and unmuting for me? Or do you want me to? I'm always happy to do it myself or for you to do it. I just don't want to try to do both at the same time. So I should be on. I have a green light. Okay, if I keep speaking, are you hearing me? Am I coming through? Oh, that is weird. Huh. Let me turn it. Good morning. Good morning. Wow, I'm getting nothing. Oh, it just went off again. Maybe. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Good morning. Good morning. I'm talking. Something is coming, but not much. That is weird. Yeah, but not much. I'm going to adjust it more. Okay. Excellent shirt, Joel. Thank you. Okay, are you getting me now? Okay, so as long as I keep it down there, it should be fine. Okay, thank you.
Jacob always said that. He was briefly research faculty before he went back to being a research scientist. He was like, I had to go to faculty school. Oh, it was terrible. I was like, okay, well, don't be faculty then. Yeah. Just go to nice. He was like, I don't want to teach. I want to go to department meetings. I want to go to faculty seminars. Not bad. Yeah, good for you. You take care of it. All right. Take care. I need to go. It's all good.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Salem. We are so glad you are here, all of you in the sanctuary, all of you joining us online. We are a community that co-creates itself every Sunday, and it only works if you choose to come and co-create it. So thank you for gathering. I am the Reverend Monica Jacobson. I use she, her pronouns, and I have the joy of serving this congregation as minister. Leading worship with me today are Barbara Stebbins-Bowes and Spencer Wharton as our celebrants. Ariane Kirkpatrick is our Lifelines lay minister. Marcia Christensen is offering our music. Lori-Ann Schmidt is at the tech table. And Doc Hadley made our slides. We gather this morning as a community of seekers, each and every one of us carrying questions, searching for wisdom and inspiration to help us live lives of meaning. When we gather together, we gather to wonder at life's mysteries, to express our gratitude for life's gifts, to grieve together during life's hardships, to give and receive care, be of service, and always to help each other to learn and grow. You are welcome here just as you are, with whatever beliefs sustain you, whomever you love, however you understand and express your identities, and in all the ways you are still becoming the person you will be. So carrying all that we are, holding together all that we share, let us take a good, deep breath. Feel the air come in, feel it go out. Know that you are here in this time, in this gathering, not anywhere else. So whatever weeds are coming up in the garden, however much zucchini is out there, whatever's on the news, all of that can wait for an hour as we share this time. So come, let us worship together. Please rise in body, in voice, or in spirit for our opening hymn. It's number 323. You'll find it on the screen and in the gray hymnal. So choose your own adventure, and Marcia will lead us.
Break not the circle of enabling love, where people grow, forgiven and forgiving. Break not that circle, make it wider still, till it embraces all the living. Our affirmation has another way of expressing these same ideas. Please join me in saying it. The words are projected under the chalice. Love is our doctrine, compassion is our way. Here we seek to create a joyful home for free religious exploration, build a community of caring fellowship, nurture the hopes, and serve the needs of our world.
A candle's flame is a point of light, radiating in all directions. Alone, a candle's flame is a single island of light. It is our contributions, our intent, our curiosity, and our bonds with one another that string these islands into archipelagos and allow us to find direction in dark waters. When we gather, we light 3 chalices. The first is for the visitors, members, and friends of this congregation. The second is for our partner church in Szymon-Falva, Transylvania. The third is for the children and youth of this congregation and around the world, who remind us of the myriad possible futures yet to be born. Please join me in singing the flames into light.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. If you'd like to see the lyrics to what Marsha's about to sing, they are on an insert. If you're here in the sanctuary, you can find them in your order of service. It's a funny song. I don't want you to miss any lines.
Good morning, I'm Arianne Kirkpatrick, and I'm one of your Lifeline's lay ministers. Lifeline's lay ministers are members of this congregation who are here to help people in times of need. We can be identified by our lavender stoles and badges. You can reach out to us by visiting the Lifeline's table in Hanneman Hall each Sunday after this service, or by using the contact information that you'll find on the back of the order of service. Each week, when we gather for worship, we share the joys and sorrows of members of this congregation and this community. We know that joys shared are often magnified as we celebrate together, and sorrows shared may be lightened as we are reminded that we are not alone. As I read them, we'll light a candle to symbolize the truth that is shared. I have to remind them that one of them needs to come and light the candle.
Who celebrates? Unclear who's going to light the candle. An abundance of riches.
And to remind us that what we hold together brings more of the light of understanding and compassion to us all. Today we have one sorrow and two joys to share. The sorrow is it's an anonymous writing, but it says, it is important to respect the religious exploration. No unattended children, please. And please clean up and leave church property here. Thank you. The first joy I have is from Spencer Wharton. And he says, thanks to the hard work and generosity of our community, including several UUCS members, my wife and I now have most of a beautiful front deck, thanks to Nate Ganute, the Snowcarps, and the Rolladers. I think I managed to mangle that name, for helping me make this dream a reality. And the second joy is from some friends of ours, George and Karen Pitter. And they say, happy to share that as of this morning, we have been married for 60 years and 3 days. Looking forward to more time together. And of course, we light one final candle to remind us of the joys and sorrows carried by those of this community, which remain unspoken in our hearts.
Before we sing, I actually have a time of centering practice to share with us. It is not printed in your order of service. That error is my fault. Errors in the order of service tend to be my fault. But don't worry. Many cultures teach that perfection offends the gods, so we will not be struck by lightning this morning. You are very welcome. It is one of the many services I provide. And I do invite you to join me in a spirit of meditation, reflection, prayer, centering, whatever your practice is, as we share these words from Jules Taylor. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It is not proud. Love bears all things. We know these words. We may use these words when we refer to one person loving another. Love looks different when we relate to systems. Love looks different in the face of injustice. It is then that love is resistant. Love is defiant. It is not backing down. It is staying in the streets. Love is holding each other and ourselves accountable. Love is challenging because none of us are free until all of us are free. Love is protest. Protest is love. Love bears all things. Let us breathe together in silence for a few moments. As you bring your attention back into this gathering, may you feel your heart open even a little bit more to this flow of the love that we and our world need so much. And to assist us in our opening, I invite you to join in singing our heart song while you remain seated. It'll be up on the slide. We're going to sing it first in unison, and then we're going to attempt to do it as a round. If that fills you with anxiety, just sing whatever Marcia is singing. If you feel adventurous, Barbara and I are going to try to come in on the second part, and we're going to see how it goes. Beautiful. Thank you, Marcia. Thank you, all of you.
Beloved community is when we say we, and we mean everyone. Beloved community is not homogeneous. It can't be. When commonality is presumed, when we make assumptions about who's present and whether people are like us or not, we're not practicing beloved community, because beloved community doesn't make those assumptions. It doesn't presume commonality or a sense of being homogeneous. Another thing, beloved community is not like-minded, because we're not called to be like-minded in spiritual community. We're called to be like-hearted. And finally, beloved community is not devoid of conflict. And this one is also really hard. Beloved community is not easy. There's nothing easy about practicing beloved community. When we avoid conflict in order to get along, we're not practicing beloved community, because beloved community exists when we trust each other. We have the relationships, the strong enough relationships to actually disagree with each other, to be in conflict, even to risk hurting each other. And we can stay in relationship through those disagreements and conflict and potential hurt. That's practicing beloved community.
These concepts, these practices, these invitations, our Universalist heritage, this idea of beloved community, they are so complex and challenging when you get down to what they really mean. It may be that you have learned the expression beloved community from the work of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This term was first coined, as far as we can tell, in the early 20th century by the philosopher-theologian Josiah Royce. He was a white man who founded the Fellowship of Reconciliation, and Reverend Dr. King was a member of the Fellowship of Reconciliation. It was King who made the term widely known, and it shows up often in Unitarian Universalist circles. We've just heard one definition from the UU organizers of the Transforming Hearts Collective, a group that offers trainings to expand the inclusion of trans people in congregational life and to do advocacy work against the many transphobic laws being proposed and sometimes adopted in this country. Here's another definition of beloved community, this one from Paula Cole-Jones. She writes, "Beloved community happens when people of diverse racial, ethnic, educational, class, gender, sexual orientation, and other backgrounds and identities come together in an interdependent relationship of love, mutual respect, and care that seeks to realize justice within the community and beyond its walls." Which sounds like what the world needs right now, yeah? More of that. As Unitarian Universalists, we can draw connections between beloved community and our Universalist heritage. In the 18th century, it was articulated as universal salvation, the belief that after death, all souls go to heaven. Put another way, the triumph of love, and the truth that where we're going, we're all going together. Now, historically, this was not an easy sell. In many cases, ideas of hell and damnation were foundational to the early American social order. What would keep people being lawful and behaving themselves, if not the fear of punishment, now or in the afterlife? In fact, in the 18th century, Universalists were seen as untrustworthy, almost as untrustworthy as atheists, because there was this belief that this was how society needed to be organized. But an early American Universalist minister, Hosea Ballou, who was a circuit rider, meaning that he and his horse went out and they rode from different new settlements on what the white population considered to be the frontier and preached in different places. One time, Hosea Ballou was riding circuit alongside a Baptist minister. They would travel together sometimes and argue theology as they rode. And the Baptist said, "Brother Ballou, if I were a Universalist and feared not the fires of hell, I could hit you over the head, steal your horse and your saddle, and ride away, and I would still go to heaven." Hosea Ballou said, "If you were a Universalist, that idea would never occur to you." In other words, people who know themselves to be held deeply in love don't need fear of consequences to inspire them to do the right thing. People can be motivated to do what is right, to care for each other, because they are motivated by the truth that we are interrelated to each other. People can be inspired to be brave enough to make repair when they have screwed up in their relationships. Because I gotta tell you, it's just physics. Mistakes happen. Everybody screws up sometimes. The physicists call it entropy. I think it is a spiritual truth. Things fall apart. But when we know that we are loved and we know that we are connected, we can muster up our courage to say, "I didn't do that exactly the way I wanted to, and I think it hurt you, and I'm sorry, and I want to make repair." But it's still true that this idea of some kind of consequence as motivation for good behavior is pretty deeply rooted in the broader American culture, even today. And so those of us who practice Unitarian Universalism, who believe deeply that everyone is beloved, we might still struggle with this idea that everybody gets a nice ending? Really, everybody? Maybe like me, you're picturing some people that you're like, them too? Oh, universalism is not easy. And sometimes it is incredibly clear why that is. Texts from the 19th century tell of Black American Christians writing, I'm really interested in this universalism idea, but I also live in a world where I have not seen real consequences for those who have enslaved me and people like me, and I've got to believe it'll happen in the afterlife because I don't see it here. This is the more serious version of the Peter Mayer song that Marcia sang for us. It's not a pleasant vision, some sort of heaven that includes all those who oppressed others, maybe you, on the earth. But this version of universalism of the 18th and 19th centuries was also sometimes called the gospel of God's success. Because as the Reverend Gordon McKeeman once summarized it, it meant, quote, the last unrepentant sinner would be dragged, kicking and screaming into heaven, unable at last to resist the power and love of the Almighty. Now I have to tell you, I really don't know how I feel about this idea of involuntary salvation. I am pretty big on free will and on the practice of consent. So that doesn't sit right with me. But I'm happy to tell you that by the 20th century, Universalism had expanded its focus on concern with what happens now in this life on this earth. The Reverend Clarence Skinner, you may know I named one of my cats after Clarence Skinner. He's big for me. The Reverend Clarence Skinner had an early experience in his ministry of serving in impoverished neighborhoods in New York City. And out of that experience, he said, universalism must be concerned with conditions of heaven or hell here on earth. Separate from any thought of what happens after death, we make hell or we make heaven with and for each other. And surely that is part of what we are called to. Maybe you've heard the poem by Edwin Markham. He lived from 1852 to 1940, and he wrote this poem called Outwitted. It's a catchy, short little one. He drew a circle that shut me out, heretic, rebel, a thing to flout, but love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle and took him in. Markham was a universalist. And as usual, poetry gets right to the heart of the matter, but poetry also usually doesn't give us step-by-step instructions. I think of poetry as being more like the instructions you get with things from IKEA. Are you picturing it? They've got the little images, the happy person assembling whatever it is you've bought, and when it makes sense, it totally makes sense and everything clicks into place. And when it doesn't make sense, well, here you are with a pile of pieces and an illustration showing where you want to be, and you need to call a friend to come over and help you get from step 3 to step 4. Because neither universalism nor beloved community should be done alone. The gospel of IKEA. One more description of beloved community for our contemplation. The King Center describes Martin Luther King Jr.'s vision of beloved community this way: a global vision in which all people can share in the wealth of the earth. In the beloved community, poverty, hunger, and homelessness will not be tolerated because international standards of human decency will not allow it. Racism and all forms of discrimination, bigotry, and prejudice will be replaced by an all-inclusive spirit of sisterhood, brotherhood, and siblinghood. In the beloved community, international disputes will be resolved by peaceful conflict resolution and reconciliation of adversaries instead of military power. Love and trust will triumph over fear and hatred. Peace with justice will prevail over war and military conflict. Which sounds to me like a world of people centered in that deep sense of love and interrelatedness. People who have a solid sense of their selfhood and their role to play in creating this world together. In the anthology Love at the Center, which is this year's UUA Common Read, my colleague, the Reverend Karen Van Fossen, writes, "Universalism, like many traditions, depends upon a community, a collective, to practice our deepest values with. From its beginnings, universalism has been nothing if not practical, rooted in life on earth, particularly with concern for some of those who have been oppressed. Some of the first Universalists on this continent, like Ellen Ann Winchester and Benjamin Rush, became slavery abolitionists. According to Universalism, God's love is not a final reward for a privileged class in the afterlife. Love is life itself, which means love can always find us. In a loved one's gaze, in a chickadee's song, and in the collective fight for justice. That is the essence of universalism. That is the heart of our Unitarian Universalist tradition, that everyone can have a place, everyone can belong, everyone can be needed. How handy, she writes, and also overwhelming, that this theology, this worldview, might be just what our planet needs today. A commitment to the sacredness of all, a devotion to the interconnectedness among us. Still, she says, it's not uncommon, especially in this age of global climate change, to hear human beings disparaging human beings. The logic goes something like this. I love the earth. Human beings harm the earth. Harming the earth is unjust, so I can't stand human beings. And she makes an important point. There is a real challenge to us. The challenge of living in a world where harm is done to us, to our beloveds, to kin of many species, to ecosystems and mountains and rivers, and trying to reconcile the unrepentant harm doers with a theology of love and an ethic of interconnectedness. That passage from Karen Van Fossen is from an essay about her time with the water protectors at Standing Rock. She was serving the UU congregation in Bismarck, North Dakota, and she answered the call in 2016 to join the Oceti Sakowin camp. She writes, the longer I was part of Oceti Sakowin camp, the more I learned to live by love, to put it into daily practice in a co-created culture of abolition, where every person, every being truly matters. As a contemporary movement led by Black women, as well as a longtime worldview held by many indigenous cultures, abolition is less an ideology and more a way of life. Broadly stated, she says, abolition is a collection of hopeful practices that foster wholeness and repair, decrease punitive ways of relating, and move cultures away from carceral systems or imprisonment and toward full participation of all people. And abolition doesn't only mean steadily dismantling punitive systems, which we know often wind up punishing difference, pathologizing pain, and exacerbating the very traumas and conditions that underlie the harm they are trying to address. Abolition means reconnecting the broken strands in the collective fabric of life. In other words, it means living in such a way that it would never occur to you to steal your neighbor's horse. It means living in such a way that you are unable to bear knowing about the suffering of others without doing at least a little something to try to address it. This all reminds me of a passage from an old novel, Rilla of Ingleside, which is set on the Canadian home front during World War I. There's a scene in which several folks are discussing the punishment they would like to visit upon a German military leader who has perpetrated incredible cruelty on civilians, when suddenly a child speaks up and says, "I know what I want to do with him. I would turn him all at once into a good man, a very good man. And if he was turned into a good man, he would understand how dreadful the things he has done are, and he would feel so terrible about it that he would be more unhappy and miserable than he could ever be in any other way, and he would go on feeling like that forever. And it would serve him exactly right." But this is the final challenge of living universalism, of building beloved community, that there always has to be a path back, that we don't leave people feeling terrible and miserable forever and ever. People have to choose to take that path back, but the path must exist. We do honor free will, and we do practice consent, and that means we know that people can choose to change. They can choose to make amends and repair. They can choose to grow and behave differently in the future. And while they might always feel badly about past wrongs, people can be helped to carry that as they choose a new path forward. As the author Mia Birdsong puts it in her book, How We Show Up, we are responsible for one another. That doesn't mean that we can heal someone else or make them be accountable. They have to own their commitment to those things. But it does mean being there. It means not avoiding our people when they experience trauma, illness, violence, or pain, sometimes even though we find it hard or scary. It means not abandoning people to their relentless pain and hurting, and it also means collecting each other when we mess up. All the hurt and harm we are experiencing and causing in this world is from experienced and inherited pain and trauma. She writes, "I want to heal my own trauma and pain because it brings me closer to being a happy, free person, and because it is also the thing that will decrease the harm that I do cause. My own healing will make it easier for me to hold myself accountable when I do mess up. I am committed to doing that work, and I can't do it without other people committing to help me. We do these things together." It is not an easy time to be universalists. It is not an easy time to put these values and this theology into practice in the world, to join with those who hold the vision of beloved community, which can feel so very far away. It is not easy to try to be people who bring more love into a world with so much cruelty and chaos and destruction. But it is a worthy practice. It is an important aspiration to be people who are agents of healing and of reconnection as often as possible. And guess what? It can also be joyous and freeing to live this way, which is what I wish for all of us, that we are ever more joyful and free inside our own lives. So let us keep on together. May it be so.
Thank you, Reverend Monica. Beloved community is built bit by bit, each of us looking into our heart and deciding what we can give to nurture this UUCS community. Now is the time where we can thoughtfully support this congregation through our financial generosity. This month, we share the plate with Planned Parenthood Columbia Willamette, whose mission is to provide access to sexual and reproductive health care. As we do every Sunday, we also gather non-perishable foods in the Little Red Wagon for the Marion Polk Food Share, because no one should go hungry. If you are making a UUCS pledge payment, indicate such by writing pledge in the message line of your check or on an envelope if you are using cash. If you prefer to give online, simply click on donate. Your gifts, no matter the amount, enlarge the circle of love and gratitude. Thank you.
This next song that Peter Mayer wrote, it's called Everybody In, and y'all have the lyric on your sheet there. So I'm not inviting you to sing on the verses because I need to like own them. But what I am inviting you guys to do is sing the refrain. And so when you hear that come around, please join me. Okay?
please join with me in saying the words for giving thanks. They're up here, and they're in your order of service. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our many gifts, including these offerings.
And now Reverend Monica will light the social justice lantern and release the chalice flames. This poem I'll read is by our own UUCS member and poet, Craig Rowland. Let us be that circle. As we extinguish this flame, we'll light that one first. Stand by.
There's a lot of fire involved in
There
worship.
is. All right. As we extinguish this flame, may we carry its warmth into the world, not as a memory, but as a promise that you deserve a place where your voice matters, where your laughter is treasured and your silence is honored. You deserve a circle that sees your scars and your strength, your doubts and your radiance, and holds them all with care. Let us be that circle for one another, a community of fierce welcome, wild grace, and radical hope. Go knowing you belong here. You always have.
A couple of announcements. There is plenty going on. We're in the ramp up to fall period, so keep an eye on the back of your order of service. There is also a Friday email that comes out with information about things that are going on. I want to highlight, particularly if you were intrigued by that reading from Mia Birdsong, this is our congregational book group book for August. We will be gathering on the 4th Wednesday of the month, the numerical date of which I cannot remember, on Zoom to discuss this book. So you have about a week and a half to read it if you'd like to get a copy or an audiobook, and then join in that discussion in a week and a half. We also, the other book I excerpted from, you'll be hearing more about later. This is this year's common read across the Unitarian Universalist Association. It is an anthology of essays about what it means to practice love at the center and Unitarian Universalist theologies. In the winter, we'll do some activities around this one. But I know some of you want to know, what are those books you quoted? What are those books? Okay, another opportunity for connection, relationship, and interdependence. We are in need of volunteers to help clean up after coffee service today. If you are able to help, and particularly if you are familiar with how our sanitizer works, please drop by the kitchen at the end of coffee hour, make some new connections, and help do some cleanup. And also know that we are coming, I believe today is the last day to sign up for a connections group, so if that's something you wanted to be part of this fall, I think today is the final day. Anna's giving me a thumbs up, that is correct. And signups, I think, are happening now for our new foray into an extended families program. Courtney and Sarah are nodding, that's also correct. I'm not kidding when I say it's co-created. I need y'all. So if you have ever thought to yourself, I would like to be part of some kind of multi-generational structure of community, I live far away from, or I have difficult relationships with the people from my family of origin or from my partner's family, I wonder if religious community, as one of the last deeply multi-generational places in American culture, could help me out. The answer is yes. We're going to try an experiment where you can sign up to be matched into these church-extended families to do activities together and to deepen your connections with each other. You can take a look at the back of your order of service, the email, or ask somebody at coffee hour what's going on that you're excited about to find out more about all that is afoot here. For now, I invite you to rise in body, in voice, or in spirit for our closing hymn. It's number 299, Make Channels for the Streams of Love. And once again, you can choose a hymnal or a scream, and Marcia will lead us.
Channels for the streams of
such channels to provide the very founts of love for us will soon be parched and dry. For we must share if we would keep this gift all else above. We cease to give, we cease to have, such is the law of love.
While you remain risen, I invite you to say our closing words, and as is our tradition, find a way to connect, whether it's through hands or touching a shoulder, whatever's comfortable. And we will say, may faith in the spirit of life, hope for the community of earth, and love for the sacred in one another be ours now and in all the days to come. Amen.
Nice work, everybody. Good service.
One day
You
we'll
were cooking
remember.
on that one. You come back.
Come back feisty. Yeah. That should be. I should come back feisty. Well, also, it's poetry next week, so we're going to do lots and lots of William Stafford, so it's totally going to change. So it's like, wow, this is the one I get to hit it.
Yeah. Excellent.
It's nice to be back. It's very fun.
Did you enjoy your time off?
I did, yes. It was the right balance. I had enough time off that I was like,
Yeah.
I want to get back. Although my email is a nightmare still.
Well,
It always is.
I would just
Whether you're out
delete
for a week
everything.
or for a month.
email is such a nightmare. It's just an ever growing. We really made a great communication system.
I did delete. I think I told you. I deleted all my email
Yeah?
a couple weeks ago, and then of course I brought
promise
some
I'm not
back to trash.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
I know, but it was thousands.
Oh, yeah.
And it took so long. I had to look up to delete a lot of photos at once, and it even then it takes so long.
Yeah, I have a lot of emails. My inbox is bad.
Probably have folders and this and
Oh,
that.
I wish I were that organized.
It's just too much to it.
Email is a task.
It is. It's a cancer.
Ugh.